All right, welcome to Bothering the Band. My name is Ryan Bynack. With me, as always, is the producer of this podcast, Abigail. Say hi to the people.
Hello to the people.
We have a great episode, loaded with nostalgia, with Susie of the Florida band POHGOH. And if you love 90s, you're going to love this episode. So grab a public sub, sit back, relax. Ladies and gentlemen, Bothering the Band with Susie from POHGOH.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, Susie, what's going on?
Nothing.
Welcome to Bothering the Band. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. My name's Ryan. This is Abby, the producer of this shindig, and who has been talking to your people.
My peeps.
Getting this shindig off the ground. You got one. You both have red hoodies. That's fun.
It's always a good sign.
Yes, indeed. So I don't know if you did any digging, but you're in for a treat. Some real stupid questions.
Awesome. I'm into it.
Oh, cool. So we always start off with saying, how are you and where are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm in my dining room slash office slash that's a puzzle board back there. I'm in my house in Tampa, Florida.
Cool. That's what we were going to get to because Abby and I are from Orlando.
Okay.
And, I don't know how you feel about Orlando, but diplomatically, it's a love-hate for me. I can't speak for Abby.
Yeah.
It's given me a lot, including this podcast, Abby's friendship, my kid, like all this shit. However, it does sometimes suck.
Well, I will say, just in general, the time it takes to get to Orlando these days from Tampa, it used to take us like an hour, and now it's like twice that long. It's a nightmare, you know. Um, we do still go out there. I mean, we go out there for shows and stuff, and there's a couple of really good venues. So scene wise, I mean, what is any scene since the pandemic started? But um, I don't mind Orlando. I think I like to visit. I don't know if I'd want to live there because the traffic is kind of a nightmare, but it's not too bad,
Agreed.
you know.
Agreed. We speaking of scenes, so we both don't live there anymore. However, looking back on our like childhood, we both kind of, again, trying to be polite, we shit on it as one does as a teen. But now looking back, and we've talked about this extensively, looking back, it's like, man, Central Florida had a cool like punk rock scene in the 90s. And lots of bands came through there. Maybe we just didn't, we appreciate it now in retrospect. Are you from originally Central Florida?
Yeah, born and raised in Tampa, and started playing in bands in Tampa when I was 15. So I've seen the scene go through many different iterations. Um, we were around in the 90s. And even after the band broke up, we had another band and we were still going to other shows and part of the scene. But yeah, I mean, there were some pretty important venues that had some really, really good like shows back in the day. There was a venue by University of Tampa called Fourth with Chaos that had a lot of really good shows. I think just one off the top of my head was, and my husband's in the other room. He's probably going to correct me. I think it was Mineral, Jejune, Jimmy Eat World, and the Get Up Kids. Oh, two different shows. So count me wrong on that. But my point being, that was a venue where shows like that came through. So, yeah, I would say so. Pretty decent scene down here.
Awesome. Well, your husband's in the band too, right?
Yeah.
Did you just say like you're not allowed to be on the interview?
No, he's more than welcome to. He's Do you want to join us, Keith?
It's totally up
Do
to
you
him.
Do you want to join us? Yeah, he's good. He's he's doing he owns a record store up the street, and he's working on Discogs and putting orders together. So it's kind of
What's the name of
boring.
the record store?
Micro Groove.
Oh, cool. I have to text some Tampa friends, see if they know what it is.
Yeah, it's he's had the store open for 11 years. It's mostly used vinyl, some new stuff, and used CDs. Um, but it's a really tiny space. It's 600 square feet, so the term microgroup is kind of fitting. But yeah, he's been doing that for, well, like I said, about 11 years now.
Oh,
So
that's very cool. We
yeah.
love a good record store.
Sure do.
Susie, you mentioned the 90s, and Abby and I are both proud products of the 90s. And Pogo has a very 90s feel.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel this is dumber than the actual dumb questions? Do you feel like it's having that type of sound is having a renaissance
Um,
or
I
resurgence?
think
That's the word
I
I'm looking for.
I think as a whole, the 90s right now is very fashionable. If you go to Target, you can pick out an outfit that I wore in high school, and it's like the fact that, what's next? Are they going to open Contempo Casual again? I don't know. Or maybe Charlotte Russe, or maybe that's still open. But it's all coming back, And I guess the everything that's good comes back around again. But it's just a trip to me that, like when I was a teenager, the 70s were trippy and nostalgic, and now it's the 90s, and it's like, no.
It
So
hurts.
I think I'm like 4 or 5 years older than you guys, but I mean, there started to be, all the waves of emo. The the second wave emo started with, bands that were, influenced by like Braid. Then all the other bands started to kind of get back together again, and there's been like, I think we're on like the fifth wave of emo now. I can't keep up anymore because I'm old. I'm not even, I guess I wouldn't even be considered an elder emo anymore. I'm like a geriatric emo. Because the kids on TikTok that are like elder emos, they're like, man, being 35 is really rough out here. And I'm like, oh, ow, it
Yeah.
hurts my heart. So, um, yeah, definitely going through a renaissance for sure. But I don't mind it. I love the 90s, and I think that there was a lot of um, the the beauty of not being attached to a computer 24/7, like constantly glued to something, and just having the freedom to, first of all, get away with a lot more, I'm saying. Like my parents couldn't keep track of me, it was a lot easier to skip school, but everything was a lot simpler. And um, I know I just sound like old fart. Hey there. I love the 90s, so what am I going to say about it?
I
What else
saw
can I say?
a great tweet about that, like the parents not finding you, or maybe it's on Instagram, but it was something like kids these days making fun of us for not having computers. Like, what would you just locked in the house all day? And they were like, there was literally a commercial on at 10 o'clock. Do you know
Hmm.
where your kids are? Like, they had
Yes.
to
Yeah.
remind the parents
Yeah.
to find us.
Yeah.
No, we were
Totally.
not in the
Um,
house.
I have one older sister, and my parents had a wind-up alarm clock that they put between the frame of their bedroom door and the actual door, and she would have to come home and turn it off so they would know she was home by curfew. So I
Mhm.
can't tell you how many nights I turned it off for her, and she just came home when she
Oh,
wanted to. And like now my sister can pull up her phone and knows exactly where her children are. Oh, she's in her apartment right now. You know what I mean? So it's just not the same anymore.
oh, we could talk about this forever. In
Yeah,
the
we
in
could.
the
Yeah.
in the happiest and saddest of ways, where it's so tough for me to not do the like you kids, that type of like old man looking down on stuff, but I try to not do it. I try not to be like an ageist. Also, let's go back to 90s fashion. Why is the worst part of it coming back?
I, why Jenko jeans? I don't know. I thought they were bad the first time around.
And
I mean,
chunky like Fila shoes. are coming, like, just give me some flare jeans and like baby doll tees and call it a day.
A couple chokers,
Wow. I
yeah.
think Abby knows some chokers.
Yes,
I
yes.
also wore the Jinkos. No shame.
Did you have the little
Fresh
butterfly
guy.
clips that you
Oh,
would like twist?
Hundo P. Yeah,
And then
of course.
I don't even know what they're called, but they look like torture devices. It's like a headband, but it's
Oh,
circular,
those
and
didn't
you
work
put it on
for
your
me. The
teeth, and
pokey
it just pulls
one.
your hair, it gives you a
Oh
headache.
yeah, I know
Those
yeah,
never worked in my hair.
yeah. And I
But
want to
yes.
tell all of Gen Z to please not overpluck their eyebrows because thankfully I never did. And if you do that, they're just not coming back. You know what I
I
mean?
did, and that's why I have bangs to this day.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is so much fun.
So yeah. Good things and bad things about the 90s, I'd say.
Well, our next question is, what do you think is, in your opinion, the most underrated 90s band?
The most underrated 90s band. Oh God. Oh yeah, Versus. That goes without saying. I mean,
Oh, nice.
yeah, the band from New York. They were on Mark Robinson's label. I can't think of the name of the label. Team Beat. Thank you, Keith.
I like that he's chiming in. It's real fun.
Have a little angel telling me. Yeah. Just excellent. And they were on Caroline, right? Yes, they were on Caroline. And they're still a band. Like a lot of people are like, man, what happened to Versus? They just put a record out like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's fantastic.
I'm gonna have to go back.
So yeah, they're not their first record, but my favorite record of theirs is called Secret Swingers. And you cannot get a physical copy of it anymore, and it's not available streaming. You can only listen to the full record on YouTube. And I listened to it, and it's summer 1996 for me, straight up, like sense memories take me back, So yeah,
absolutely.
most underrated band. Yeah.
We talk about music being a time machine a lot on this podcast. You can ask your husband this too, if he knows a band called the Jits.
The Jits. Have you ever heard of a band called the Jits, Keith? Mm-mm.
Oh wow. Okay.
I've heard of the Gits.
Well, maybe we're saying, I thought it was the Jit, Gits, right?
I thought you said git, like you're a git, like you're an idiot. I don't know.
I see. I thought it was like you're like, again, product of the 90s, Jit, like you're a little Jit.
See, now we're gonna have to find out the proper way to pronounce that word, because otherwise.
Well, we're talking about the same band. The lead singer, I forget her name, passed away, right?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, American punk rock band, Yellow Springs, Ohio. Yeah, Mia Zapata. Mm-hmm. Yes.
The Gits. I've never heard that. I'm gonna have to text some other people and correct them.
Let's see your Google. Gits. Okay.
We're just hearing a hi-hat. That's what it sounds like.
It doesn't sound like anything. It just sounds like it's going at the end.
Anyways.
So, not important.
Okay. Play-Doh or cookie dough or dough, like Homer Simpson says?
Well, you're kind of making me feel like when I was, because it can go dough, D-O-E. No, D-O-U-G-H. I guess it's the same thing, but it could mean dough. Or dough, if you're talking about Sound of Music. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So I just added another layer to your question. I like Play-Doh, but it dries up and goes bad. You gotta throw it out. So knock that one off the list. Cookie dough is delicious. But dough, as in cash, can I just make a multiple answer, multiple choice? I want them all. I want it all. That's it.
Well, there are no wrong answers on Bothering the Band. However, that is the right answer, what you said.
Excellent. Yes.
Abby, do you have any other doughs
No, I was impressed that you came up with so many and then she added 12 more.
I know.
That's it. No
So-
contributions.
It's so dumb.
Oh,
I
but
was
the dough is also, the Homer
Yeah,
dough is
dough.
also kind of iconic. So you can't, I want that one too.
I
There's-
wasn't about to do an impression though. That we usually do like a either or type of question like that. And
Mhm.
here's a good question. Can you name more than two Susies in pop culture? Susie and the Banshees and
Susie
Susie.
Sue,
Okay. And I have
Mhm.
Susie Essman, who's a comedian.
Susie Essman. Um, let's see. So you're putting me on the spot now. Now I know why
know.
people lose when they were on Cash Cab because they can't remember the answers. You put them. Do you remember Cash Cab? I loved that
Of
show.
course.
Love that show.
Um,
You should ask your cash cab question later.
uh-oh. Just as long as we don't get a red light challenge, because then I'll definitely. Another Susie. I mean, do you want famous people? My grandmother was named Susie.
Count it. She wins.
Count, wake up, little Susie. Clearly Everly, one of the Everly brothers' sweetheart, Susie. And then there's Susie Q, who was part of a Credence song. So there are many Susies in the world.
Can you come write for this podcast and help us think of other
Yeah, let's do it.
go
I'll
down
write
some rabbit
questions.
holes?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite type of soup?
Soup.
So dumb.
Pho, 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 pho. How do you say it? How do you prefer to pronounce it?
I would say pho.
Pho. And then we just had some ramen last night. There's this ramen place, and they have the spicy miso ramen. And you take a sip and you immediately cough because it's so spicy. And then you take another sip and then you just keep torturing yourself, and it's so delicious.
I would murder that right now. I feel like I'm getting sick. I'm like I have a little tickle in my throat, and I would
Mhm.
down that spicy soup just to annihilate it.
Yes. Yeah, you should get some soup. That's really the best thing. But gotta be careful because there's like a lot of stuff going on around right now. So what are they're
Yeah.
calling it, like a triple demic. So
I don't watch the news or anything. I try not to. I listen to music and watch really dumb shows.
that sounds nice. I can't blame you for that.
Yeah. I text Abby 10 times a day. We get to bother our favorite musicians. It's pretty good. We're doing all right.
Yeah,
You know?
that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Would you be open to having your phone or other technology implanted in your body in the future?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. What are the is it permanent? Can I take it out?
I
Is there
appreciate.
is there a warranty? Can you tell I'm neurotic? Has
Oh
this hit home
yeah,
yet? Yeah.
it's a
So, I mean,
good call. That's a
yeah.
good question because of our, circular economy or whatever it is, and
hmm
they'd have to give you new upgrades or whatever.
hmm Yeah, like an Apple update, or would the battery run low like an Apple and like an iPhone until you were forced to replace it? Is that just it's just really a giant money-making scheme, this implant?
That's a good retort to someone like a real crazy person who's like, we're one step away from putting a chip in your body. You're like, yeah, well, they have to keep making money off that chip. So how would they do it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By selling your data.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already out there.
Right? I know, like
It's
everybody
everywhere.
did Lenza. It's fine, Everybody gave their information. What was the other thing? I can't remember the last viral thing that everyone was doing. They were like, "Don't do that. You're giving all your information away." I probably did it.
Well, I like that Spotify really just was like rebranded the fact that we're tracking you into like, look at this fun stuff you
Spotify
listen to
Wrapped.
all
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard some statistic today that if you listen to at least 6 hours of Spotify a day, you will make up what you're paying them in subscriptions. Like it's some kind of like even like you basically make the money you make the money that you're paying on a monthly basis by listening. Like you make up for the time. Does that make sense, or am I making no sense at all?
It does make sense, and it makes me feel good because I listen to like music is on constantly
Yes. Yeah.
in my home, and we compared our Spotify Wrapped, and we're in like both of Abby beat me a little bit, but we're both in the like top 1% of listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
with
was
how much, you know,
Was it for one specific band or was it just in like
general. Yeah.
And I beat you by like 8 hours.
Yeah.
dang, that's
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah. I used to listen to music while I worked, but now I just get distracted.
Just always on the back. Today, lots of POHGOH today.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you had to
fun.
rename the band due to legal reasons, what would you rename it?
Are you serious? Dang. I had a list. Now I used to have a list of band names. Um, and I think I deleted it. I didn't choose that name. I was not the original singer of the band.
Yeah, we
Um,
did our deep
did a little
dive.
research. Yeah. Dang it. I used to have a list of band names. And then I can't remember any of them right now.
We found some
Uh,
cool
here's
articles.
here's what it boils down to. I'll never be happy with any band name ever. I will always I'll just be like, really? That's what we came up with? Okay, sure. I mean, you have to call it something, right? It's not going to be
Yeah.
this. Um, I just it really bothers me that I can't find that list right now because
Just get
there's some
really
damn good
uncreative.
names on that list.
Oh, I
Um,
want to know. Like the let's think of 90s names, like the James
oh,
Vanderbeeks.
I thought of a name while we were watching the Harry and Meghan documentary. They talked about the press that is in the castle, and they refer to them as the Royal Rota. Like it's like it's like the Sun and the Guardian and all of the different press outlets that get tipped off by the the royal family, and they're just called the Royal Rota. It sounds snappy. It's really snobby to me. I kind of like it. Like it's got to be cool. Have to be
Yeah.
included in that.
Sounds very Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm not that cool though.
Yeah, you seem pretty cool.
Yeah,
You have a cool story, and I have to. I hope it's okay that I bring this up. You have MS.
I do.
We Abby and I have a very good friend of the podcast who has MS, and then also former guest of the podcast. Shout out to Juno DeJenna, who has MS as well. So
Mm.
there, I don't have a question or anything like that, but it was interesting to read about, and you had a very good take. Yeah, I read a quote that you were like something essentially, and I'm paraphrasing. You're like, yeah, I have it. It doesn't define me. I still fight with my husband.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
That
I
was
mean,
great.
people may see someone with a disability and think that it's just like an inspirational story and every moment's beautiful. No, there's still bad days, and I can still get mad and I still fight with my husband, and you know, I yell at people when they cut me off in traffic, and it it's just another part of my day to day that that I struggle with, just like anyone else has a struggle that they deal with, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the last thing you ate?
The last thing I ate was a Christmas cookie that our neighbors dropped off a tray of Christmas cookies, and I had a frosted sugar cookie that was delicious.
I hope it didn't make you give you anger in the belly. Nailed it.
Yeah, that was a nice callback. I appreciate that. No anger in my belly right now. My belly is very happy because it's a sugar cookie in it. So,
You might recognize a few of these questions.
hmm.
There's small tie-ins to song titles.
Okay.
Like, who's your favorite Friends character?
Favorite Friends character?
So
Phoebe.
good answer. Good
hands down.
answer.
She just does not care. She gives zero. I don't know if we can cuss on this podcast, but
Absolutely. I think I've
zero.
probably cussed a few
Yeah,
times.
she gives zero fucks, and she's just along for it. And she's a twin, and then she had her. Is she a twin, or does she have a sister? I can't remember, but she did have her. No, she had her brother's babies.
She
Yes,
was a twin, but yes, she had Giovanni Ribisi's babies
yes. Well, yeah,
and the mom from that 70s show.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna
Susie
say
Ulrey.
um friends, something triggered something you said triggered. Um, I don't know. Oh, you talked about being a teenager and your sister circumventing curfew. Did you ever
Mm.
sneak out of the house as a kid?
I didn't sneak out of the house. We did. Me and my friends in high school did the. I'm staying in her house. I'm staying at her house. I'm staying at her house. So everybody was staying at each other's houses, but no one was actually where they said they were. We were just out, you know. Um, and I did get busted once where my dad called and was like, "Yeah, can I speak to Susie?" And they were like, "She's at your house with my daughter." And then my dad was like, "No, she's at your house with your daughter." So it was this big to do, and I didn't do it again, you know. So yeah, I never actually snuck out though. We had a really heavy door, and I would have been busted immediately, you know. So yeah,
Oh goodness. Abby, did you ever sneak out?
My mom listens to this podcast.
Oh, your mom, yeah. Shout out to Deb.
I'm just gonna take that as a yes. I mean, you know,
I
um,
did.
Would she be mad at you? Would she like give you the business?
No, but I can, she's gonna do this exact thing when she hears this. She's gonna go, there's an eye roll. I don't know if you can see it, but she's gonna go, "Ugh, Abby."
it's amazing.
And then
Yeah,
she's gonna smoke her fridge cigs.
I did the I'm staying here, she's staying here thing too.
yeah,
And also got busted.
yeah. It's a dumb idea because you're gonna get caught, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's in, I mean, and here we are, proof,
Yep.
exactly proof that you get caught when you do that, you know.
Susie, do you now or did you ever smoke cigs?
I did,
Oh,
stupidly.
so
Yeah.
gross.
So gross. Yeah, I did. Um, I had a boyfriend who smoked, um, and all like four of our other friends smoked, and I smoked. I think I smoked for like 2 years. Smoked Marlboro Reds.
Whoa,
Yeah,
gangster.
yeah. It was stupid. Um, and then I stopped. And then I would like want to smoke when I would like drink, but I don't really even drink that much. And I was like, this is dumb, and I feel gross, so I stopped doing it. You know, it wasn't ever like an addiction that I had to like, you know, do patches or the nicotine or any of that stuff. It was just something I dabbled with, unfortunately, for a little while. You know,
Marlboro Reds, no joke.
yeah, no,
It's pretty
stupid.
badass. It's so intimidating. Okay.
Beat you up and smoke a cigarette when I'm
I
done.
know. I know. Wear a denim jacket or something.
Mhm.
If your house were on fire, what would you grab on the way out?
Well, our house was on fire.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I
Um,
didn't know that.
no, it's fine. I'll tell you the story quickly. It was 2018. It was like January 3rd. It was just right after the New Year. And our neighborhood's old. The houses are like, our house was built in the 40s, but our neighbor's house was built like in the 20s. It was a wood frame bungalow, and pretty sure it was all original wiring. And he left his Christmas lights on, you know, at nighttime. And we went to bed and we heard someone pounding on the door. We thought it was just like some transient drunk person, maybe like thinking they're on our house, because that has happened to us before, actually. Um, but it was the firemen, and they were about to kick our door down because our neighbor's house was on fire and our house was catching on fire. Um, I we had a ramp, so I used my scooter, and my husband grabbed our cat, threw her in his van, which is like a cargo van, in the street. My van, which was a ramp van, caught on fire. Our carport caught on fire. The whole east side of our house caught on fire. Um, my van was just a pile of melted plastic. It was ridiculous. Um, I think if that happened again, I would probably, if I could, I would grab my Telecaster. If I had all of my, loved, breathing, warm things, the actual human living things in my house, if they were all out safely and I could grab something, I would grab my guitar. But it's just a guitar. So my cat, she just hung out she just stayed in the van the entire time, and we watched everything from across the street. Our neighbor was okay. Luckily, he was in the hospital for a while. Has a brand new house. Took about 3 years to build. So that's what I do have. I actually have a
Holy
real story to tell. Yeah,
shit.
it was absolutely terrifying. I still don't like smelling campfires. It makes me really nervous, just like that wood burning smell. Like even matches, like even when we blow out a candle in the house, and it's like, ooh. So, yeah, um, never thought I would say that, but I actually can say I
Wow.
survived that. We survived that,
So
So
you're not lighting the menorah tonight?
no, or
No.
or Advent candles. We haven't done that in a while, so no menorah, no
I
candles.
I remember you said something that made me I remember what I was going to say before is you said, Abby, do you know what she said? There's two things she said that I was like, oh, I could, if she didn't say she was from Florida, I would have guessed it. There's two things. You know what they
Uh-oh.
were?
No, I missed it.
One was carport.
Mm.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
very Florida.
very Florida. Yeah,
And cussing. Cussing is
cussing is not. It's a Southern thing.
cussing
word?
is I mean I don't know. I've said it my whole life. And then when I moved to New York after college, I got made fun of. I was like, oh, I'm
Well,
sorry for cussing. They're like, what are you saying? Like
yeah,
cuss, oh, like curse words. I was like, oh no, we said cussing and
yeah,
carports.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
By the
Mhm.
way, new album for Pogo is, or what was it, the Royal Rhoda? Um Cussing in carports.
Cussing in carports.
Cussing in
Yep, that
carports.
sounds good. Yeah, and I think that's a good juxtaposition to the Royal Rhoda. It's just, it sounds so Florida.
It's so
That would be
good.
perfect. Yeah, that would be perfect.
And we
I'm,
love
s-
alliteration. So
I'm sorry I keep messing with my hair. I'm trying to grow it out, and I feel like it kind of looks like I've like switched my part, and I feel like it's looking like kind of like a newscaster from the 70s. Like it's
I
getting
love it. I
round.
also didn't notice you were messing.
Yeah, and then see, I normally do it this way, but see, like it's like pointy and weird. So then I switch it. I'm glad I can switch it. You're like,
Yeah.
what is she talking about? Okay.
No.
I clearly haven't been on a Zoom in a while, so
I'm on a Zoom.
I'm off work.
I'm
So
on a Zoom every day, and I
I
just
know.
wonder, I go, can they see me looking at myself?
I know. Yeah, for real. And then I look at myself and I think I am the same color as my walls. I really need to get some sun. Because
I
I
start
mean,
seeing like this. I'm like, oh God. And everyone I'm
yeah,
on a Zoom with is like 25 years old and stunning.
don't even get me
I'm
started.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you bet. And they're the ones, like you said, we're like, oh man, 32 is tough. And you're like, oh, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I um am working with people who are smart and driven and young, a lot younger than me, and it's it's keeping me on my toes. Um, yeah. And I've been working from home since like 2006, so my office skills are pretty stunted, you know. I'm good on Zoom though. I'm good.
You're doing great. Your hair looks great.
I
You
was worried it
know,
looked like a mushroom cap, you know.
no,
Not at all.
it's great. Uh, I'm gonna skip one. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
When's the last time you were in the weeds?
Daily. No, I'm just kidding. Like actually in the weeds? Oh, I I would say it's been a good couple months. Um, I've actually taken some time off, so I've been recovering. I had surgery. I'm good. Everything's fine, but I had to take some time off from work to recover. So I've actually been going to physical therapy and resting. So I haven't really been in the weeds of much. It's been nice, but I'm starting to get a little stir crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going back to work at the beginning of the year, so um, you're helping me dip my toe back into the Zoom world of Zoom, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I'm happy. Did you ever work in a restaurant?
Uh-uh. No, I would be before I had MS, I was clumsy. So I can't imagine balancing any sort of trays or glasses or plates at all. Also, I worked at Publix and I was so bad at balancing my drawer. Um, they would just send me to the aisles to face groceries all day. Cause like they would put me on the spot and make me change. I would just freak out. It's not good. So me in a restaurant I would probably cry a lot too. Cause if anyone would yell at me, which, you know, people treat service workers like garbage. So I think I would just be a hollow shell of a woman if I was working in the food industry. Um, I'm not built for that.
I
But
love that you worked at Publix. That's awesome. I
yeah,
know I never worked at Publix. I tried, I filled out.
it it's not all it's cracked up to be. Standing on your feet all day, those polyester green vests, not comfortable and or flattering, I might add. Um, plus, you know, you got to deal with people writing checks, which people still write checks. I can't believe that.
I saw
Um,
someone recently write a check
yeah,
at Publix.
like and this was way. I mean, I was in college. This is way before extreme couponing was a thing. Like if I had someone like that come to my cash register, I probably would have just walked away out of fear. I would have been like, huh, I'm not doing that. Nope. Bye. Good luck.
Talk
No.
about like a return to the 90s. So, like I said, I was in the express lane at Publix and two people ahead of me. No one had any like a lot of stuff.
Mm.
And this woman started writing a check and no one was mad. Everyone was fascinated. Everyone was like, what?
What is
What does
that?
it look like? Is it
Yeah.
Washington Mutual? Like we were really
Yeah.
taken aback.
Yeah. And then they'll want cash back and oh, what a nightmare. Flashbacks. It's not good. Yeah. And then I stupidly was recruited at Publix when I was working at the register to be a bank teller, which I then left Publix after I did such an amazing job balancing the drawer. I went to be a teller at a credit union, not a bank. And then I was so bad at that, they put me in a room. I was literally just encoding checks all day. There was like this plastic machine, and I had a stack of checks, and there was a dollar amount, and I would punch the dollar amount in, run the check through, and this pile would get bigger, and that's all I would do all day long. So,
Jeez.
yeah,
See, I
it's
don't think
great.
I could do that.
I didn't mind it. I didn't have to deal with anybody. I could just type
True.
in numbers all day, you know? Move it. So, I don't know.
Well, this podcast just got wild. That
So
was the
wild.
craziest shit we've ever
You
heard on a
know,
podcast.
talk about, I was just one step away from drug use, when I was encoding checks at the credit union. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Not
It's
really.
you and Keith Richards, it's
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing.
I mean, my husband's name is Keith, but he hasn't had, transplants but how many blood transfusions? He's had like full Keith Richards, he had like blood transfusions and like probably plasma and stem cells and like I don't know.
I have no idea. I know he had blood in his brain because he fell out of a coconut tree like 10 years ago or something.
How is he still around? I mean, he's just like
Good for
I
him.
think maybe there's some magic involved. I don't know.
My friend has a theory on
Let's
why
hear it.
all of those rock guys are still around.
All right.
They were doing all of those drugs in the early days. They were a lot more pure. So while they're not bad for you, they're also not cut with rat poison and baby laxatives.
Propofol.
And,
Yeah.
So not
That's a good
again.
theory. Yeah. Yeah.
Back in my day, the drugs were pure.
Drugs are pure.
Oh goodness. Okay, you can pull Keith on this as well.
Okay.
Do you find farts funny?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we find farts funny? That's an immediate yes. All day, every day. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a debate I've had with people. I think they're funny. I think own
Hilarious.
it. I have a daughter who thinks it's funny, and I got like a talking to, like, she's getting older. Shouldn't be. I was like, wow, who cares? Farts are funny.
Farts are
Mhm.
funny. Yes. And like even we've been in a band together for so long, like it's just part of our conversation. Like we'll be in practice and I'll be like, "Oh, sorry, I farted. It smells so bad. I'm so sorry." Um, yeah, and we had nicknames for ourselves on tour. I didn't get the doctorate in farting. I got the doctorate in toileting. I was Dr. Toilet. Keith was Dr. Fart for obvious reasons. And then we had a Dr. Watch and a Dr. Soul, which I can't really go into explaining why they were that. I mean, it's an inside thing. You understand. Plus, it's really not that funny because we were just dumb kids, you know. But yes, farts are categorically funny. There's no argument from me.
Well, that just made me so happy.
Yes.
Okay. In the bathroom closest to you now, do you have gel hand soap, or the kind you push and it comes out foamy?
Foam hand soap.
Yes. Okay. And what about your main bath? Is it just one bathroom?
Yeah, we just have one over here.
Okay.
We're not fancy. It's just the two of us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the one. Yeah.
Just the foamy one. I like it. I
Mhm.
like it a lot. Those are my favorite type of questions.
Those are important questions.
I
I feel like it's really good ground to cover.
I saw a tweet the other day where it was like, you're an adult when you go to your friend's house and judge their like hand soap. For instance, I have some friends, let's say their development is arrested. We are all in our like 40 or approaching that fast. And I won't name this person, but I was like, really? You're having me use bar soap in like what would be a guest bathroom?
But was it like cute little shaped seashell-y bullshit?
God, no.
Oh, it's like a bar of dial just sitting there hanging out. That's weird.
I would have taken the dial over this. I didn't use it. I was like, I'm not using that shit. I'm gonna go elsewhere. I was like, you're a grown up, man. I was like, I'll buy. It was a longer conversation than I want to give it here. Anyways, what's your love language?
That's an excellent question. Don't know.
Do you know these? Have you heard these things?
I do. I have the book and I haven't
okay.
read it. Yeah, I know it's like acts of service, acts of what else? Fill me in.
It's
I'm
like
failing to put-
physical touch, words of affirmation. I think whoever wrote it was like, how do I make my partner do things for me? I'm gonna make up acts of service. Like that was the one that they were ultimately going for. I don't know all of them, but
I mean, and I think I can speak for both of us because we've been married for 22 years. Just time is like hangout time is
you
important
got
to
married
us.
when you snuck out of the house.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was 23 when I got married. 22. 22. Woo, young. Yeah. No, 23.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm 45 now and we've been married for 22 years. So that's the math. Smart, you guys.
You
So
you
smart.
look like an annoying 35-year-old who's like
Okay.
really into self-care and like
I'll take it. You know why? It's because I don't go outside. I get no sun. That's why I'm the same color as the wall, too. Yeah. Thank you.
so
Shaved 10 years off my
you and
age.
Keith, what's the love language? And is it the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We just time. We like to hang out together. What is that called?
I think it's quality time.
Quality time. Yeah. I mean, we have rules. Like when we watch movies, there's no talking. You have to get up. You have to pause it. We pay attention. We're present. You know, like we'll look at sometimes we would have to like qualify. Like I'm not going on Facebook. I'm looking this person up on IMDb to see what else they were in.
Wow.
And if you so because we watch a lot of movies and TV, so we have contests like that person was that person on that show in the first season, and Keith's like, good job. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm very impressed with myself.
That's something I'm rubbing off like unconsciously on my daughter. She'll be like, look up that guy, Dad. Who's that guy? That guy's from something. I'm like, all right. That's like the most used app on my phone is IMDb.
Or Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we'll also be one of the other big question is how old was she when she was filming?
Yes.
You know, like because I know how old they are now, but I want to know how old they were when they were playing that part. Like it's so nerdy.
Yes,
so,
which brings me to a mind-blowing thing that we learned, Abby and I, is that Mr. Belding in like season 2 or 3, when the Saved by the Bell that we know came into existence, was 39.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, but when you were a kid, you're like, that guy's
old.
100 years old.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, oh yeah, I'm older than him now.
Yeah.
It was real sad.
It used to, and before Mr. Belding came, there was another principal, and it was the actress from The Parent Trap from the 60s.
Yeah. Miss Bliss.
Miss Bliss.
Yes.
The name of the show was Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Good Morning, Miss Bliss. Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
You keep hitting. I don't want to interrupt you because you keep hitting on these things, and I'm like, come back to it. Don't forget this. And now I'm forgetting. Oh, what's the last movie you and Keith watched?
The last movie we watched. What was the last movie we watched, Keith? Oh, we watched a really crappy Hallmark movie, which we never do. We never watch Christmas Hallmark movies, but we watched this because it was the first Hanukkah Hallmark.
Is it the Rye one?
Hanukkah on Rye.
Yes! Yeah. I saw that.
It wasn't that bad.
So
it's totally innocuous because nothing terrible happens and everybody ends up happy. So you just watch, and now I know why people just binge Hallmark movies because it's so innocuous. And
I was just talking about this movie with my daughter because she was like, why aren't there any, like, we're Jewish, and she was like, why aren't there any like Hanukkah holiday movies?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I saw it and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It was a really good Hallmark movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Abby and I watch a lot of movies and text about them, and shows, lots of shows, pop culture, as I call it, pop culture casualties, because it tends to take over. But I think that's another product of like being of the 90s.
Yes, I agree.
Soaking it in.
I'm from Florida. When there are hurricanes and whatnot, like that's what you do. Just hang out and watch TV till the rain stops.
I mean, just growing up, I saw that's what we did on Fridays and Saturday. Before drinking, before you got old enough to drink, we went to the movies all the time, or rented movies at a friend's house. Like that's it all the time.
Yeah, that what this just strolling the aisles of Blockbuster and reading the back of the boxes. That was like some of the best ways to spend Friday nights, you know?
Yeah.
So
And my sister yelling at me, "Don't get Young Guns Part 2 again, please." I'm like, but I love it.
yeah. Yeah. We used to rent so many.
Do you guys plan your movies? Like, do you know the next one you're gonna watch?
Um, it depends. Like sometimes, like we just finished rewatching all the Star Wars canon.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I mean, we included Solo and Rogue One, so we did all of it, including the prequels, everything.
Wow.
So we haven't. I mean, usually around this time of year, we're watching Christmas movies, but we haven't watched too many. We watched Hanukkah and Rye, which was an excellent holiday movie. We watched White Christmas. We usually watch Emmett Otter. Um, there's a ton of movies that we watch at Christmas, and we usually have all that planned out. But this year just feels kind of like, you know, so
Mm-hmm.
I haven't felt too holiday-ish. I don't know. Maybe it's because we don't have kids, and you know, the the holidays in general. There's no real spark to it, you know,
Yeah.
because I don't know, things change. I mean, like I said, we're old, so it's got a different. It has a different meaning now, you know. So,
Of course. I get it on many levels. Well, again, I feel like this before even jumping into age and stuff like that, all these questions lean towards nostalgia. So, what was normal when we were kids, when you were a kid, that you never see anymore? Besides things like payphones and stuff, you know?
pagers.
Ooh, that's a good one. I I have one, and although you never see, I want to see some goth kids. That's what I
It's
want
it.
to see.
Someone will revive the technology. I just saw an article in the New York Times today about these kids in high school who are eschewing smartphones, and they're called Luddites. They're calling themselves Luddites, yeah,
I read that as well.
and they only have flip phones, and their parents like insisted that they at least get flip phones. Like they conveniently lost their smartphones, and then their parents are like, "We need to at least get in touch with you so you know where you are." Um, and then some of their friends actually like stopped talking to them because they didn't like how their texts were in green instead of blue. It was this whole, it's really fascinating. So, um, I just, all of the analog technology that we had that we don't have anymore, or that it's just antiquated. Um, what did I buy? I was going through some midlife thing, and I bought a spirograph. You remember spirographs?
Yes.
Are those like the plastic things you like do this with? Yeah.
And it was so frustrating. It wasn't nearly as fun as I remember it being. I think I did it once, and then I just put it under the end table, and I was like, that's not as fun as I remember. I don't want to do it anymore. So,
Did you guys ever, both of you, did you do, I'm sure someone in your class in like seventh or eighth or whatever grade, turn in a project that was like the nails in a circle with the string going back and forth?
yes, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like an art project. Yeah,
I feel like those were turned in for things that didn't, what was the connective tissue, like science or whatever for
yeah.
that?
I don't know. I don't remember either. I don't. It had something to do with math, I think,
I think it was
and like
math. I was going to say
yeah,
that.
like angles and degrees and all that stuff ish. I don't know.
Oh man. Well, okay. So, do you consider hammers tools of destruction or tools of construction?
Depends on what you're using it for.
Okay, let's say,
They're typically used to build things, unless you're like, breaking into someone's house with it. I don't know. I think it's a builder, not a destroyer. I'm gonna keep it posy. Keep it posy.
another connect to the music album Hammer. We talked about Friends, we talked about hammers, we talked about soap. Do you guys follow us on Instagram? It's my favorite moment.
I am not following you on Instagram. I'm honest to a fault. I cannot lie.
Oh, it's okay. This is our shameless plug moment.
Okay.
Where Abby rolls her eyes and I say, "Hey everyone, follow Bothering the Band on Instagram, and then also follow POHGOH. It's POHGOH, POHGOHFL."
That's it. Yeah, I'm pulling up your page right now.
Yeah. Oh, I like the beach balls.
Here you are.
Thank you,
Yay.
everyone. Follow us, follow the band. If you could bother any musician, live or dead, who would you bother?
George Harrison.
Oh, wow. Lots of Beatles lately. Lots of Beatles lately.
He's my favorite Beatle.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the dark horse.
of
He he
course.
he wrote all he wrote all these amazing songs, and they're like, no, 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 no. We just want these songs from you. So then he put out All Things Must Pass, which was all the throwaways, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, was it last winter when those Beatles, like that three-part series came out with like when they hit a microphone in like a planter and you could hear them actually having a conversation? That was
Yeah.
so cool. That was so cool. It was the best. Um, so yeah, I'd like to talk to him for sure.
And in the vein of our silly podcast, what would you ask him?
In the vein of the podcast, I would ask him how many cups of tea did he drink while they made Abbey Road?
Very good question.
Because they drink a lot of tea.
I'm going to have tea tonight.
Tea's good.
And what kind of tea, I wonder? I wonder, did he go English breakfast?
Yeah,
That's too,
probably.
you
Yeah.
think? That
Yeah.
might be too on the nose.
What do they drink? PG Tips in London? And what was the brand of tea?
I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
I always see it in the British aisle at Publix. PG Tips and the Heinz beans and like all the other weird stuff. You know, the can of spotted dick, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's a spotted dick." You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I now I got to go to Publix. Okay, Susie, what's next for POHGOH?
We are definitely going to play some shows in spring. Um, Potentially have some. We're going to work on a smaller tour and hopefully some festivals next year. And you know, we'll just see where the year takes us. We're really excited about this record, and you know, the whole reason why we started doing this again was just because we were having so much fun. We were like, why are we just doing a reunion? Let's just keep on doing it. So I think the goal is to not even necessarily have any. The goal is to not have any end game, just to keep doing it until it's not fun anymore. You know, so there's no reason for us to, you know, put a period on it, and we'll just see where the year takes us. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of like this podcast. We're like, there's whatever. We'll just do it till it's not fun anymore,
Yeah.
until someone yells at us, or someone like Spotify gives us a boatload of money, and then they're like, we just want the name. You guys suck. See you later.
Oh, yes, that will happen one day. So it'll happen for us and for y'all. That's, you know, just in one fell swoop.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you know any of your tour destinations yet?
Everything is still being routed right now, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, if you come, I'm in South Florida.
Okay.
So if you come to like Fort Lauderdale or anything like that, I will come and
Awesome.
wave at you from the crowd.
Okay.
You know, the back where the old dudes hang out.
Yeah.
Like this.
The
with
earplugs. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Arms crossed in the pit. Yeah.
In my Grease 2 shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're a cool writer.
I am a cool writer. I think I might get murdered for this. By far the superior film.
Well, I would argue with you on that, but I will say that I don't know if it was because of basic cable. I have watched Grease 2 way more than Grease. But I don't think it's a better movie. Michelle Pfeiffer is a really mediocre singer. So
Yeah, but she is a smoke show in that.
yeah, she is. I mean, there's no arguing that.
So is what's his toes, Michael, who is Rex Manning as well.
Yeah.
He is just stunning in that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's British.
Yes.
I also, that again, back to nostalgia. Yes, that just came on like, basic cable. And I was like, I guess we're watching this. And
Yep.
we only had, so many channels. So I'm like WGN or something.
Yeah, it's 44. Channel 44. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to promote? Tell the people where to find you or anything like that?
We're on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter. We'll see how much longer that mess is actually in the world. Hopefully it'll go away. I'm tired of it. No, but we're on all socials. And we're on Spotify. So yeah, check us out.
Yeah, and everyone listening, if you're in Tampa, go to Microgroove. Support physical record stores, brick and mortar.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. Well, this has been so much fun, and I'm so happy we did this. I have to say, shout out to your PR person, Caroline, who pushed for you. And then we saw you were from Florida. We have a love, any Florida band we have to support. But then we just also loved your music too. So
cool, good. I'm so glad we got hooked up to do this. It's been great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I hope you have a good night. I hope
you too.
Tell Keith we said bye.
I will.
And hope you get, put Christmas Vacation on your list.
Yes.
Before the season's over.
Yes, I will do that for sure.
Cool. Susie, have a good night. Thank you so much for being on Bottling the
Band.
Band.
Guys. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
We're in the weeds together.